So in my saucepan I have about 5 to 6 cups of peaches, and there's a mixture of peaches. These are from my peach tree outside that I just picked yesterday, so they're very ripe. They ripen a lot faster than the store-bought ones that I got last week that are still a little bit firm. So I'm going to still cook them, and these will soften and give out their juices anyway. To my peaches, I'm going to add in about a half a cup of brown sugar. I might add in more. Okay, I might add in more as they cook to see the sweetness. So I'm just going to cook it on low, and then I'm going to add in some vanilla bean paste. Now I'm using this bourbon vanilla bean paste from Trader Joe's. That's amazing, and I save it for special recipes like this. So look at, oh my god, it's so delicious. So I'm just going to pour it in, probably about a tablespoon. And then I'll probably add in a little extra, just regular vanilla bean extract. I mean vanilla extract, not vanilla bean. Vanilla extract to it, just to give it a little bit more vanilla flavor. This is if you want to. I'm just going to be using... Alright, hold on. I'm just going to be using the Costco one, just a little bit. I like a lot of vanilla flavor, so, and then I'm gonna let it cook on low, and then I'm gonna give it, hold on, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a stir, and the key thing is to cook it on low and slow so that the sugar kind of gives it the juices and they get all nice and soft. Gonna want to add in some sort of like acid to it, so I just add in a squeeze of a half a lemon, and you do it over your hand so that none of the pits come in, and you just need a little bit of acid in it, and the lemon flavor does kind of enhance the peach flavor. So just a little bit, not much, and just let it cook nice and slow and low, and then we'll come back in a couple minutes. As the juices start flowing and it starts getting a little soft, I like to add in a little bit of cinnamon to it to taste. You can also add in some nutmeg if you want to do that, and then always some salt too. You always want to put in a little bit of salt in there, just a little, and then you're just going to continue to let that cook down. You don't have to put the cinnamon in there, that's just an option, but I always like the added flavor of cinnamon in the background of your taste buds, and you really want this to be nice and flavorful. So we're just going to let this peaches soften up some more, just for a couple more minutes until it comes to a little gentle boil, and then we will thicken it up. It starts to come to a boil is when you're going to want to taste a peach. And taste it to make sure it's sweet enough, that it's got enough flavor, enough salt, if you want to add more cinnamon, or anything like that. So it's coming to a boil, so I'm just gonna let this cool and taste it and see if it needs anything else before we make the slurry to thicken it up. Tasted my peach and it tastes really good. You can let this cook down for as long as you want to get them as soft as you want. I like mine to have a bit of a crunch to it still, and some of them are super soft. You can also press it with a masher, or you can use a immersion blender if you want to get it a little smoother and not as chunky. You can do that also, but I like big chunks in mine. I don't really mind that at all. And so now we're going to make the slurry. You can leave it like this if you want to. It's thick as it is, so you can leave it like this, and as it cools it will thicken up a little bit more. Or if you like it nice and thick like me, in my pie I like a nice thick filling. We're going to make a slurry that's really easy to do. For the slurry, in a little measuring cup, you're going to need about 3 or 4 tablespoons of water, and then I'm just going to add in 1 tablespoon to start with, maybe 1 and maybe 1.5 to 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to stir that up. And now, like, I eyeball everything, so that's just what I do. But you want it thin, still you don't want it chunky. You want to make sure that it's nice and smooth before you add it into your pie filling. Ready to add your slurry into your pie filling, you're just going to pour it in there, and it should thicken up pretty quickly. I like to keep my dish off to the side in case I need to make another little bit of a slurry. If it didn't thicken up that much, I like to do it nice and gradual, not add too much to it. So I'm going to let this cook, and you can see it's starting to thicken up already. And if it's not thick enough for you, you can make a whole nother slurry and add it in there, or you can leave it as is. But it is going to take a couple minutes of cooking time to thicken up. I ended up making another slurry for mine because it just wasn't thickening up as thick as I like it. So I like to, if I'm making a slurry, I like to start off in small increments because you don't want it to thicken up too much and then it gets like gummy. The cornstarch gets gummy. So do it little increments and then you can thicken it up as you go. But once it gets nice and thick, then you just pour it into your container, let it cool completely on your counter, and then you can freeze it or you can use it right away. And you can use it in cakes as a cake filling, ice cream topping. I mean, sky's the limit with this, and it's so delicious. I mean, it's just spread it on some toast. If you puree it with an immersion blender, you can spread it on some toast as some jam, and you got yourself something good. So this is the peach pie filling after I put it in a container. Just gonna let it cool completely, pop the lid on it, and then freeze it for when I'm ready to make my pie or whatever I'm gonna do with it. I'm not sure, but make sure you subscribe to me if you want to learn some more cooking and baking tricks and tips and recipes and product reviews coming soon. Make sure you subscribe and like my video.